In healthcare, commonly it's an outdated CMS, DXP solution, as well as struggles with migrations, provider data, credentialing systems, detailed provider data, but a lot of times you don't have bios, good service information, you don't have good quality photos, so it's very much an HR-based system almost, and not ready to be presented to the end user. My name is Rob Higgins. I'm a solutions architect and the Acquia practice lead for Perficient. And Perficient is a full-service AI-first digital consultancy. Credentialing data comes into a Drupal instance on Acquia Cloud Next. We'll have the DAM to integrate high-res, web-ready images, web governance for accessibility, and then Acquia Search is a huge backbone of the search product. And this tool actually was Site Studio. We are able to rapidly migrate existing HTML in and leave Site Studio as a ability for them to enhance at future time. When someone's searching, they're not searching for detailed medical terminology. You need to be able to overlay that marketing-friendly data, things that Acquia Search, other tools can digest. We know that you need a source of truth. This credentialing data is important. There's compliance reasons, and that's where I think Acquia and Drupal really shine, because there's Epic, Verge, there's hundreds of these credentialing systems, and a lot of times it's a one-off API that the IT department built. And having the flexibility of open source and Acquia, it allows us to bring that in quickly and have the marketing team get in there and start overlaying what they need on top of it so it's user-friendly and it looks good on the front end. Their search engagement is way up. Accessibility is much higher. And then the other kind of more abstract one is that the back end is just a lot more user-friendly. It can be very fulfilling. I came from a dev background, so a lot of times I was just behind a computer, and now I've moved into a leadership role. I'm seeing much more engagement with the clients, and I feel it's become much more satisfying to see that outcome of, okay, this used to take someone 15 minutes daily that they had to do this, and now it takes them 2 minutes. I thought, okay, this is gonna be a really good play for Acquia, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell it to our customer base. As it's grown, that's changing. This is something where it's now part of a bigger solution where if someone has the large healthcare sites, Drupal 11, ACN, big infrastructure, but a lot of these people also have 25 WordPress sites for little departments, one-offs, and now I'm seeing Source as a great add-on for those customers as well as a rapid prototyping tool. Some sites are gonna stay on it, others I think are gonna be rapidly prototyped and moved off, and now you're in Drupal 11 and you have the full flexibility of Drupal 11. I thought it was basically a WordPress replacement at first, and now I'm seeing it as a small part of a much bigger picture. Having an open source option in the DXP space is big. To be able to come to some of the smaller companies that maybe Adobe or a Sitecore might be a tough swallow. And Acquia, I think, presents open source in a way that makes it digestible to the CMOs, because a lot of times people think open source, they think WordPress, and Acquia, I think, packages it all in a way that you can show it seems like a paid product, even though the underlying tooling is still open source. A client asks, oh, we really need this little edge case, and it doesn't go into a big queue. We have a dev team that can make that change and get it done in that sprint, instead of having to open a queue with a provider that's gonna have to put into their product queue, and who knows where you're going to get prioritized. And I think that that's been very valuable.